Welcome back, everyone. We're going to be talking about the Sonus Faber Palladio Series PC-562 in-ceiling speaker. And this is an in-ceiling that's basically based on Sonneto series drivers, but it just goes in your ceiling. So you're looking at that smooth Italian sound, but nicely hidden away. So I'm going to tell you about all the details, but before we get into all of that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon so you don't miss out on anything. And with that, here's your question of the day. What's your opinion on in-ceiling or in-wall speakers? We all know that Sonus Faber is a very good and well-known audio company. And we here at Gramophone have done our fair share in talking about all kinds of Sonus Faber product. We even went to see their factory in Italy where all of these pieces of art are made, which we will have links to the playlist for right down below. But throughout the many decades that Sonus Faber has been at it and the many generations of speakers that they've produced, they always get two things right: quality and beauty. And even at first glance, I think you guys can realize that both of those things are very apparent even in their in-ceiling product with the PC-562. So, PC-562, a Palladio product for your ceiling that's a 5 series, or basically like a Sonneto, 6 inches in size and two-way. Boom. The woofer in this, being based on what you find in the Sonneto series, is a cellulose woofer made out of completely natural materials. It's basically like a very high-grade paper-esque material. To this day, paper, or cellulose, is still one of the absolute best materials in terms of total weight to stiffness and rigidity when it comes to making a speaker. And those are all the things we want. And Sonus Faber's blends of cellulose, in my opinion, tend to be some of the best in the industry for producing very natural voicings. Now let's talk about what I think is the star of the show. That damped apex dome soft tweeter made purely out of silk. You know, the Sonus Faber calling card, the silk dome that could, the one that's smooth and gentle and non-fatiguing yet still squeezes out all the detail you could want, unlike many others. This is meant to go in your ceiling and probably get a grill on it, which looks like this, and it hooks on by magnets, so it's very convenient. So you might never even see it, but that tweeter and that surround it's built into is exactly what you see on a Sonneto bookshelf or tower. This is still very attractive, even if you're never going to see it, because there's nothing this company does that isn't pretty. And what makes this tweeter so unique, other than being gorgeous, despite it being an in-ceiling speaker, is that little apex at the end of the dome where you have that tiny little piece of polypropylene mounted under that nice aluminum frame. And by damped apex, I mean the point, that beautiful point that pulls out any distortions that we don't want to hear from the tweeter, so we can push harder for more detail, but keep all the soft, unfatiguing character of a soft dome. Is why I think the Sonus Faber soft dome might be the best in the industry that I have yet heard. But there's more going on here, because you still need the passive electronics, you know, the crossover, and you need a solution for mounting this in your ceiling if it's going to live up there. What's the first thing you noticed? How about that beautiful red back frame? Again, you're never even going to see it, but you can probably tell almost immediately that this is a very quality frame built around this speaker, and you can see how evident it is in the dog legs that will pop up to secure it to your ceiling. These not only are very functional, but compared to what I've seen on other brands, they just look kind of cool, and there's something to be said for that. And if you take a look around the speaker, you can see the coil packs, the capacitors, their inductors, everything that makes for the crossover. All of this is quality, and even just from eyeballing it, I can tell you that from speakers at comparable price points that do the same job and fill the same role, these look like better components than average. And then all this leading right to the beautiful press connectors for your speaker wire in the back. And these connectors, again, I noticed that they stand apart from a lot of the others. They look almost a little bit like the binding post off of Sonneto, which is funny because this is where it's supposed to slot into. These easily depress and have great spring force for grabbing onto speaker wire, but there's another thing about these that you just don't find in other in-ceiling product. See the holes in the back of the connectors up top? That's for banana plugs. If you actually have pre-terminated speaker wire in your ceiling, which most of us don't, but you can, and Sonus Faber allows you to do that, whereas most other speakers have no provision for bananas. All right, so we've talked about the woofer, we've talked about the tweeter, how the drivers are like the Sonneto, how even the housing of the speaker is unique despite being an in-ceiling product, that the crossover is solid, and that I love how it connects up. But what about the installation process? Well, I have two answers for you. One is that doing a project like this is bread and butter for us here at Gramophone. Our guys can put in-ceiling speakers in with their eyes closed and make them sound amazing. It's what we do for a living. So don't be afraid to call us at any time if you want a project done with an excellent speaker just like this. And number two, for those of you who want to know how to do this yourself, it's really quite simple. Running the speaker wire is the hardest part, but let's just assume that's already there. You're going to cut a hole in your ceiling, 8.2 inches wide, using this stencil that makes it really easy to trace that out. Grab the wire that I'm assuming is already there. Run it into the terminals, either through just the springs with bare wire or popping it in with the bananas as they allow for that. Put it up into the hole, go to each of these 4 screws, take a screwdriver, start tightening. These dog legs will pop out. Grab tight onto the drywall and pull that speaker up and into the ceiling snug. Take your grill, pop it on, you're done. That's it. It's not that bad. The wire is literally the worst part. This is easy. So forget about the junky speakers you heard in department store ceilings. No. Upgrade to Sonus Faber and know how you can fill your room with wonderful, incredible sound for your background no matter what your application by going to gramophone.com to learn more about Sonus Faber. And a Palladio PC-562 will run you $400 a pop. But if you're local and you want to have this experience made as easy as possible, we'd love to do the job for you. Stop by one of our showrooms in Timonium, Columbia, or Gaithersburg, or give us a call and talk to any of our specialists here. Don't forget about the Kitchen Design Center in Hunt Valley, because they'll help you come up with a beautiful room to put them in. All right, everybody, that's a wrap for today. If you had fun and you felt like you learned something, please leave a comment down below and give us a thumbs up. Chat with me, ask any other questions you might have. Don't forget that question of the day. And of course, I always really appreciate you stopping by and taking a look at whatever fun product is on the table. Be seeing you.